Hi, everyone, and welcome to another one of our Hispanic professionals. Today I am with Amanda. Thank you, Amanda, for joining me.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm really excited to be here today.
I am too. Amanda has some great information she's going to be sharing with us. But first of all, let's get to know her. So tell us, Amanda, a little bit about your roots.
Yes, so my family has very deep history here in Texas, fourth, fifth, sixth generation. Not only in North Texas and Fort Worth specifically, born and bred, but also in Central Texas. My grandparents were born in Bastrop, Sterling City, Navasota, and then my parents actually were graduates from Diamond Hill Jarvis. So very deep roots in Fort Worth. We have been here for a long period of time.
Wow, that's wonderful. And what did your parents do?
So my father was actually a Marine in Vietnam.
Oh,
so after high school graduation, that's what they went to, and they got married soon after that. And my mother was a stay-at-home mom, and also went to Tarrant County College and became a vocational nurse. So she was working hard as well. Deep stories of background. My grandparents, my grandfather actually worked at Swift and Company, which is one of the meat packing companies in the stockyards. And my grandmother and family worker, she was a homemaker as well as a migrant worker and farm worker. So I always remember the stories of my mother telling us about picking cotton, traveling up to Ohio, and picking their fruits, vegetables there, and coming back to Fort Worth, going to school and working.
So tell us a little bit about what you do and the center that you're at.
Yes, so I am the assistant director of our Dallas Community Tax Centers. We provide free tax preparation to individuals and families earning $58,000 or less in a year. And what that does is not only do we have individual volunteers who prepare the tax returns, we also have our site coordinators, which we're very lucky are actually IRS retirees who come to our tax centers and help work through that. But we also help educate individuals on knowing what the boxes and numbers mean on their tax return. Because we've been so ingrained and marketed to that the IRS is a bad organization and it's too complicated for any one of us to understand. And so that's a huge myth that we're trying to bust and let people know and empower individuals in understanding their finances and what they're looking at on their tax return. Because when you're with the tax preparer, you're pretty financially naked. So you have all of your income information there, all of your personal information for the year, and so you want to be able to know where those calculations are coming from, what those numbers mean, and how did those numbers get there. And so we have so many clients who have told us for the first time that was the only time that anybody has done their tax return that's explained those boxes to them.
You know, that is such a huge and important step in understanding finances, because I think most of us, I myself consider myself very illiterate when it comes to money and finances and all that. So knowing not only what is on there, but understanding why it's there, I think that's huge, and I give you and your center a lot of credit for that. So can you tell me maybe something that you think people should know as a whole in regard to financial literacy? What are your top tips?
Yes, so money is a very emotional thing to talk about and to understand. Sometimes studies have shown that people are more willing to talk about sex in front of other people than talk about their finances and their money. So it is emotionally reactive. So understanding, first of all, what is your income that's coming in, and understanding what are your expenses going out, and relating those two things to needs versus wants. And everybody's needs and wants are going to be different for individuals. So the first thing that I always tell people is look at a budget. Most of our individuals right now, unfortunately, are facing a time when they really aren't making enough money to cover all of their expenses. And so they know that they just need a little bit more money to make it through the day, and that a budget can really kind of help you identify where else can we do, and being able to look at other benefits and applying for other benefits. The second thing is setting realistic expectations. So what are we realistically looking at? And this is across the board for everybody.
Right.
Especially when we're talking about how much house to buy, what kind of college education can you afford without going into so much debt, looking at where scholarships and grants that you can be able to supplement that particular income, and what other benefits are available to you. So understanding and identifying exactly, am I buying something because I have it as a value, and I have it as a need? Or is this just something that I want just because I want it, or I just want to have it? So for an example, for myself, I love to travel. Absolutely. Hands down, will save as much money as I can to be able to travel internationally. So when I look at a purchase, or at 2 a.m. when I'm scrolling through Facebook or Etsy or whatever, I have to kind of look, okay, so do I need or to really purchase this, let's say $600 handbag or coat or something that is not, that I don't already have in my closet? Is that a need, or can I really look at that and say, oh, that $600 could be a plane ticket out of the country?
Right.
And so for me, I've identified that my value is travel. And so I have to check my brain and say, hey, okay, let's not do that. Let's go ahead and go to, I don't know, Asia next year and start saving money for that. So I don't need that coat right now, or I don't need that, designer handbag or anything like that. And that can be scaled. That is scaled for our individuals on a lower income level and our individuals who are on a higher income level, because that doesn't change with that. It's just that identifying what your needs and what your wants are.
Okay. And so having a budget, creating a budget, knowing what to spend, and the difference between a need and a want. What else would you suggest?
So I'd also suggest, once you identify those things, researching.
Okay.
So there are researching, how can you make it to that particular goal? So if I know I need to do additional funding for some, what are the things that I can do as an expert in to be able to translate that to money? And especially in our gig economy that we have now, there are so many individuals that have opportunities for second, third jobs or side hustles that can bring in some additional income, whether that is working for Amazon, Uber, Lyft, those types of things.
Right.
Some individuals do need to, and we know that a lot of our particular clients that we see at the tax centers, they're doing those things to cover just the basics.
Right.
But for other individuals, you can do that to be able to create some additional income to get to where you want, whether that is to get out of debt, to pay off a house, to pay off a car, or to take those vacations or have a little bit of less stress in their life. So there's lots of things that you can do in researching financial tips online. Always be cautious and see, always look at different things. Also talking to a financial coach. I really believe that sometimes we need another lens on our finances to be able to help us see things differently, because we've already identified our needs and our wants. But sometimes, there are different things that we could define as a want versus a need. And that financial coach is going to be able to help ask those internal questions and get you to really think about what those are. There's also additional financial apps and fintech space
Can you say that again?
Fintech space.
Fintechs, okay.
And so they allow individuals to be able to have opportunities to save. If you already have a savings account and you're saving consistently, there's some of these apps will give you prizes and link to prizes just for savings.
Oh, wow.
To where there's one app called Savers Life
Uh-huh.
that if you consistently save over 6 months, and it doesn't have to be a large dollar amount of savings, it could be $10 or $20, that enters you into a prize for potentially receiving up $25,000.
Wow.
And
That's
that is
pretty
awesome.
good.
Yes,
Oh my
yes.
God.
There are also apps that allow you to automatically save change when you're purchasing something to make that extra round up into your savings. And those small dollar savings really do add up after
certainly.
the years. And so we want to be able to look at that. You also want to really look at your relationship with money. How did your parents use money?
It's huge.
And so that's part of the research process also of how did my parents use money? How do I see money moving through? And what are those realistic expectations?
Yeah. No, I think that those are wonderful tips for all of us, regardless of where you are financially. I think that financial literacy is important, most especially taking control and knowing how you react to money, and what your thoughts and feelings are about it, and becoming much more literate. I always ask all of my guests about their advice for the Hispanic youth. So, when it comes to money, what are your suggestions for Hispanic students who either are going to start working, a part-time job or whatever?
Right.
What should they consider?
So first thing is we want to be able to participate in the financial institutions. So you want to be able to start that relationship by either opening a bank account or a savings account. There are several bank checking and savings accounts that are available to our youth at no cost.
Oh, wow.
At all.
That's great.
So looking and researching what are the banks that are nearest to you, what are their fees and their services, what they can offer, and especially for our youth going into a scholarship season, writing those scholarships, getting those money, you want to be prepared to be able to take those checks and not have to take those checks to a payday, a cash checking service that could take, up to 3% of their check. You want to be able to deposit that into a bank that's not going to charge those amounts. Because our main goal, my main mission is we want to keep all of our money.
Right.
And that's why we're working in these tax services, because every working individual is hardworking and we want to keep all of their money together. And so that would be the other thing that I would suggest also, especially when searching first jobs, understanding what tax liabilities are and what you need to put on the paperwork as you're hired in to be able to have that minimum amount taken out of your check. Looking at those things. But I think the big thing, especially for our youth, is making sure that they are part of that financial institution. And understanding, again, the beginning part of that, what is your relationship to money? Right. So when especially for our clients that we see, for the majority of our clients, 19% of their total annual income comes from this one-time tax return. And the same thing can be translated to many of our youth who are going to enter college receiving scholarship, grants, or loans. They're going to receive that in one lump sum. So what we need to do is understand how to make that stretch out for months at a time.
Sure.
So when we're thinking in crisis mode, or we come out of crisis mode, we're not necessarily thinking with our planner brains of how to make that. You're just saying, okay, I have the money now. I can use it to buy this, and this, and alleviate and make myself feel happy for a little while without really thinking of those long-term things and that long-term money goals that we have to be able to cover all of the expenses.
No, I think that this is great information, and I will make sure we put some additional resources for you on this post. If people want to connect with you, Amanda, can they do so through LinkedIn?
Absolutely. I can do so through LinkedIn. It's Amanda Ariziola. And also for our services, all of our locations, we are on social media at Dallas CTC or on our website at www.dallasctc.org. dallastaxcenters.org. And we'll be open all tax season from January to mid-April.
Excellent. This is wonderful. Well, I am so glad we had this time to talk. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. And I want to thank all of you for watching this particular episode. If you have any questions and comments, please feel free to put them on the post. And until we see each other again, take care. Bye-bye.